Alright, so why did British colonize India? Alright, so what do we remember about India? Here's India. I know that today it's a continent. I know when we first learned about it, it was one of the early ancient river valley civilizations based off of the Indus River that runs through it. I know that it's very heavily populated. They have several people that live there, lots and lots of people that live there, and I know a little bit about the religions of Islam and Hinduism, which we studied about earlier. So what was India's place in the British Empire? So you can see here there's England, and all of the places in red are colonies that the British Empire is trying to control. So they considered India the jewel of the empire because it was the most populous and therefore had the most opportunity to make British money. Okay, so why India? Why did the British Empire want to control India? Alright, so the first reason is because they had raw materials that were not in England. So India was known for its cotton and crops like indigo that were used to make cloth. So one of the reasons was they wanted the materials, the raw materials that they had so that they could bring them back to Great Britain, make things with them, turn around and sell them and make money. Another reason is that because India was so populous and they had such a large population, that it was a good market to sell their goods in because there were so many people due to the large population that they could sell to. Okay, so how did Britain gain control over India? So they created a joint stock company. And remember, a joint stock company is when there are several people who kind of pay stock into the company. So therefore, if the company becomes not successful, not one person's going to go down. Several people might lose some money, but not one person will lose all of the money. So the purpose of the British East India Company, it was a joint stock company, and the purpose was to explore and trade around the surrounding areas in India. So the Emperor of India gave British the right to come and reside or live, build trading forts in the Indian coastal cities. And by 1647, the company had 23 posts and 90 employees in India. So what eventually happened was basically the British East India Company made themselves a nation within India. So they eventually got the right to mint money, so they were making their own British money. They formed alliances. They were basically making a military. They're getting a military together. And they hired local Indian soldiers as well. And it was somewhat arguably a nation in the Indian mainland at this point. So the British used the army that they got together to take over another seaport in India called Bengal. And they forced the people, the Indian people, to work for the joint stock company. They were not paid very well. Their taxes were increased. So basically they're pushing India out of its own economy. So understandably, the Sepoys, which were the Indian soldiers working for the British East India Company, they were not having this. So they attempted to rebel, and they did a revolt, and it lasted 2 years, and they were not successful. So eventually, the last emperor, the Indian emperor, was exiled, and his sons were shot. And cultural and religious centers were closed down. Property of the estates of those participating in the uprising were confiscated. The British transformed the colonial government to mimic their own English government. And so now they have pushed out the economy of India. Now they're pushing out the religious and cultural aspects of India as well. So you can see where this led to some racism. There was somewhat of a division of cultures. The British families and their servants lived in military homes. They lived away from the Indian settlements. And the British basically took a direct role and took control of India. They got rid of the last of the traditional rulers. They set up a government that was like their own. They formed racist ideas towards the Indians, and British families moved to Indian settlements, took over industries and agriculture. Okay, so now we're going to learn a little bit more about the Sepoy Rebellion.
There's been an assassination attempt. Oh my God, it's a manhunt. And I'm the manhunter.
During the British Raj, there was unrest and discontent amongst the people of India. The Hindu soldiers protested against the addition of Gurkha, Sikh, and lower caste soldiers to their ranks. The use of animal grease on the cartridges of the newly introduced Enfield rifles was the last straw. While loading the rifles, soldiers had to bite off the end of the cartridges. It was made up of either pig or cow fat, which violated the religious sentiments of the Muslim and Hindu soldiers. In 1857, 3 regiments of the army refused to use the ammunition of the Enfield rifles and demanded that Bahadur Shah Zafar take over as the ruler of India and the head of the rebels. Mangal Pandey is one of the most famous figures of this uprising who attacked the British regiment. He was later arrested and hanged. This uprising came to be known as the Sepoy Mutiny or the Revolt of 1857. Soon after, another regiment revolted. 90,000 men from the Bengal army joined the mutiny. After suffering major losses in Kanpur and Lucknow, the British sought the help of the loyal Sikh and Gurkha forces and managed to ward off the army of rebels near Delhi. In response to the mutiny, the British Parliament passed an act abolishing the East India Company. India became a crown colony to be governed by the British Parliament directly. In the following year, the title of Viceroy was bestowed upon the Governor-General of India by Queen Victoria. She introduced a policy of divide and rule, which prevented Indians from
Did that make you happy?
rebel against her.
Okay, so who were the Sepoys? You need to know that they were the Indian soldiers that were in the British military in India. Also, what was the role of the British East India Company in India? They made sure that the trading posts were successful. They were protecting their joint stock company's interest. So some of the long-term causes of the Sepoy Rebellion. So one of the long-term effects of the Sepoy Rebellion was the fact that there was expansion of British power in India. So if possible, the British were replacing Indian rulers with British officials. Also, westernization was occurring, and that's the process of changing a cultural to be more Western or American, European. And they proposed changes to laws regarding the Hindu and the caste system, and introduced a British education system, and British fashions became more popular. Check out those spectacles. All right. And so the long-term cause number 3 was that the Sepoys outnumbered the British troops. So the British held all the positions of power in the British East India Company, but they were not a majority of the company soldiers. 2 out of the 3 soldiers working from the company were actually Indian. So what was the short term or spark that caused the Sepoy Rebellion? Remember that we said that the cartridges were laced or dipped in pig and cow lard, and I don't know if you remember anything about the Hindu and Muslim religions, but they have certain pieces of meats of animals, cuts of meats of animals that they consider that are against their religion. So they are to have no contact with pigs for the Muslims, and the Hindu believe that they cannot have anything to do with cows. So they are refusing to put these cartridges in their mouths because it goes against their strict religious practices. So that's basically the short term or the spark cause of the Sepoy Rebellion. Okay, so unfortunately, the Sepoys were very unorganized. They didn't have like a widespread union to face the British colonial system. They didn't have a clear leader, so different people were declaring themselves the Emperor of India. Also, there is religious division because people are practicing different religions. And they were eventually defeated. The British got some reinforcements, new supplies, and they just couldn't hang in there. Alright, so 3 things that happened as a result of the Sepoy, or why were they not successful? 3 reasons why they were not successful. They had lack of organization and support. They had religious divisions, made it difficult to find support and to unify India. And they didn't have enough weapons or reinforcements, and the British were easily overpowering them. Alright, so what happened as effect of the Sepoy Rebellion? The British government starts to take control over India. Also, there was representation for Indians, but they had little power. So, they had a legislative council, but they were non-official members, and they had little power. And also the continued modernization and westernization of India. So the British continued the process of expanding their education system in India. They had public works such as roads, railways, telegraphs, and irrigation systems. They were building up their communication systems to prevent rebellion, such as the Sepoy. And in addition, westernization continued, threatening traditional Indian societies and the caste system, of which they've always that's their belief system. That's how it's always been. They're trying to come in and change everything. So, based on everything that we just talked about, do we think that the Sepoy Rebellion moved Indians closer or further away from their independence? I'm going to say it made them further away from their independence because the British officially took control of India. There was not proper representation or even real power for Indians in the government in India. And the westernization and modernization of India continued, which led to a suppression of Indian tradition and culture.